So morning to everyone who is joining live, and to those then who are listening to the recording. You're all welcome, and it's lovely to have you here. We always start our morning with a bit of a check-in. If anyone wants to put in the chat how you're feeling today, or just to check in with yourself, how the weather is inside. Actually, I've been using my dear friend Candice has created these beautiful nature of emotions cards, and they're quite lovely for a morning check-in. It's got animals or like nature on one side, and then words on the other side. So unsettled, apprehensive, suspicious, bitter, cold, or safe, valued, loving, whole. And it's actually lovely. It's a lovely awareness building thing, because so often we just charge through life without even recognizing or what we're feeling. She's also got her gingerbread journal, where you can sort of draw things in your, draw in your body, how it's feeling, or where you're feeling colors, or yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. We've got too much to talk about now. And then I always start my practice with one of my oils, especially because for me, it's often a last minute getting myself ready and deciding to make my uncoffee coffee. Colin and I haven't really returned much to coffee after the spring shed. We're so enjoying this uncoffee coffee, and he said he's just sleeping so much better than he has in years, and he thinks it's because he's not having, he used to have, he loves his coffee. He'll still have a little from time to time, but the uncoffee coffee, if you're on the spring shed, is one of our favorites. So I like to put frankincense on my palette, and I put a little bit on my pituitary gland, my third eye as well. And just to inhale it while I do it. And frankincense is all about calming, slowing breathing, encouraging a meditative state, which is why it's been used in religious ceremonies for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And my rose roller that I love, which connects one to divine love. And thank you. I see apprehensive to the day. Thoughts are racing. I am a little bit too, because I'm playing in a St. Anne's golf day. And playing golf days is always challenging. But last time we actually had a fab day and took our adaptive. I made everyone have an adaptive capsule and some peppermint and things, and we actually had a good day. But I also sit here with some apprehension for the day. So it's new moon in Scorpio on the 1st of November, which is in 2 days' time, which is an ancient cross-quarter holiday in old Europe. So we all know Halloween, which is tomorrow, which is the modern day descendant of Samhain, or it's called Samhain, or Samhain. Samhain, it's actually pronounced Samhain, but spelled Samhain, which was a sacred festival. I'm going to be reading quite a lot of this to you, because this is from the internet. Sacred festival of the ancient Celts and Druids in the British Isles. And yes, Halloween is short for All Hallows Eve. But at its heart, Halloween is an astronomy holiday. Astronomy. It's a day rooted in the Earth's orbit around the sun. It's a cross-quarter day and a testament to our ancestors' deeper understanding of the sky, probably much deeper than we actually have today as general people. The cross-quarter day is for more or less midway between the equinoxes, when the sun sets due west, and the solstices, when the sun sets at its most northern or southern point on the horizon. Halloween, the 31st of October, is approximately midway between our northern hemisphere autumn, September, equinox, and winter, December, solstice. In the southern hemisphere, that's us, most of us, the September equinox heralds spring, and the December solstice, summer. In modern times, the 4 cross-quarter days are often called Groundhog Day, 2nd of February, May Day, May the 1st, Lammas, August the 1st, and the most sinister cross-quarter day, because it comes at a dark time of the year, is Halloween. So Samhain is Scottish or Gaelic or Irish roots, is a Gaelic festival on the 1st of November, marking the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter, or the darker half of the year. It's also the Irish language name for November. Celebrations begin on the evening of the 31st of October, since the Celtic day began and ended at sunset. Isn't that interesting? So their days began at sunset. This is about halfway between the autumnal equinox and the winter solstice. Samhain is believed to have Celtic pagan roots, and some Neolithic passage tombs in Ireland and Britain are aligned with the sunrise at the time of Samhain. It's mentioned in the earliest Irish literature from the 9th century and associated with many important events in Irish mythology. The early literature says Samhain was marked by great gatherings and feasts, and was when the ancient burial mounds were open, which were seen as portals to the other world. Some of the literature also associates Samhain with bonfires and sacrifices. Like Beltane, Samhain was a liminal or threshold festival, when the boundary between this world and the other world blurred, making contact with Eosi, or the spirits or fairies, more likely. Most scholars see them as remnants of pagan gods. At Samhain, they were appeased with offerings of food and drink to ensure that people and livestock survived the winter. The souls of dead kin also thought to revisit their home, seeking hospitality, and a place was sent at the table for them during a meal. Mumming and guising were part of the festival from at least the early modern era, whereby people went door to door in costume, reciting verses in exchange for food. The costumes may have been a way of imitating and disguising oneself from the Eos, or fairies, or spirits. Divination was also a big part of the festival and often involved nuts and apples. In the 9th century, the Western Church endorsed the 1st of November as the day of All Saints' Day, possibly due to the influence of Alcuin, and 2nd of November later became All Souls' Day. It's believed that Samhain and All Saints, All Souls influence each other in the modern Halloween. Most American Halloween traditions were inherited from Scottish and Irish immigrants. So in Mexico, we have the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. And that beautiful Coco movie explains it so well. If you haven't seen it, it's an animated movie and is really very poignant and a very wonderful movie. It's called Coco. The Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday where families welcome back the souls of their deceased relatives for a brief reunion that includes food, drink, and celebration. So a blend of a Mesoamerican ritual, European religion, and Spanish culture, the holiday is celebrated each year from 31st of October to 2nd of November. While October 31st is Halloween, November 1st to 2nd is All Souls' Day, or the Day of the Dead. And according to the tradition, the gates of heaven are opened at midnight on October 31st, and the spirits of children can rejoin their families for 24 hours. Spirits of adults can do the same on November the 2nd. Halloween, this is from another, or All Halloween, All Hallows Eve, or All Saints Eve. Here, no, it says very similar stuff. So it's very interesting, and the parts of this that I like to celebrate, and in Mexico, they put out pictures of their deceased loved ones around their table. They light candles, they talk about them, they mention their names, they invite them back in. And one of my dearest friends passed on Halloween many years ago now, and her daughter is writing matric, is my same age as my Pips. So I always remember her on this day. But I've never been a big fan of Halloween as we celebrate it in South Africa and especially America and so the West. I do feel that it is inviting darkness and horror, sorry, here's shadow, and terror into our hearts and homes. And I also don't like the practice of feeding children sweets. I think children have too many sweets already, and feeding them sweets like they do on Halloween is actually very disempowering of them and their life force energy, because any mum can tell you the negative effects of lots of sweets filled with dyes and sugars and preservatives. I know Ellen's just recently had an experience of that at a market that she presented on. She said it was like they all went mad. So why do we do it? And these days, I think it's important to remember that a lot of these things of sacrificing to appease the pagan gods with offerings of food and drink and sacrifices was before Jesus's ultimate sacrifice. And so after his sacrifice, we don't need to do bonfires and sacrifices like this, but we do need to protect the sacred temples of our hearts and our homes, and our lives and our families and those of our loved ones. And we need to cover them in prayer, however we choose to pray. And we need to cover our homes, our families, our loved ones in prayer. And we need to spread love and kindness and light wherever we are. And to go into the dark side, which I don't often do, there are satanic symbols everywhere once you know what you're looking for. They're designed to be hidden in plain sight. And if we want to be empowered and not live in fear, we can look up what those symbols are, and then you start to notice where they are. And it's quite terrifying when you start to look at it. And certainly one sees them all over Hollywood and the movies. It's a lot. I choose not to go into it, but I am very aware of it all and the dark power that it holds in the world. And I actually choose to actively spread love and light and be like a candle in the darkness, as I think we all do here, all of us who are here. And so interestingly for me, Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, is tomorrow. So interesting how many of these festivals and times are always around the moon, always around some of the same sort of holidays. So Diwali is the festival of lights, celebrated tomorrow and celebrated with fireworks and light, bringing light to the world. And it's important to know that we are protected under the wing of God if we ask to be. I've also recently heard that when we react in anger, we open ourselves up. And these times, astrologically, it's all about secrets coming out, the truth coming out, being revealed, showing us our own shadows. I'm sure many of us have seen or been shown our own faults or shadows or blind spots quite noticeably in the last while. And our faults are often hard to face, and we project them. None of us like to hold shame, and it's easier to connect with blame. And so we often project them onto others. And so it's a conscious thing that we practice, whether we can choose emotional reactivity like anger or victim mode or any other reaction like that, or we choose, as the Buddhists say, non-reactivity or non-attachment, where we notice the feelings arising in our bodies, we notice the desire to lash out or to defend ourselves, but we decide to step away. As Viktor Frankl says, when we have the power to choose. As Christians say, we can choose love, and we come back to our centers and rather integrate those energies and integrate them into love, as we're going to practice now. So I invite you to just take a deep breath and close your eyes or drop your gaze and just allow your energy to settle into your body as we prepare for this mindful moment. The Only Thing That Makes Sense by Juliet Fehrenbacher. The only thing that makes sense is to hold it all tenderly, as if it can break, as if it won't be here forever, as if the moment that is this moment will give you everything if you let it. The only thing that makes sense is to celebrate the exactness of you, to take your own face in your own hands and declare yourself worthy, to wrap arms around the orphaned parts that didn't fit, didn't follow, refused to march in straight little lines. The only thing that makes sense is to make art that is your art, art that swings, sways, tangos its way through every midnight, as if life, this very exact disappearing life, depends on it. To scatter kindness confetti until walls become wings, hard melts into soft, not enough becomes a feast of fabulous plenty. A wild, belly-laughing celebration where every tender, breakable thing is invited to the moment that is this moment, the moment that will give you everything, if you let it. And so as we follow each breath into our body, we invite this moment to give us everything. We consciously allow it by being open to it. Dropping into our body slowly, our attention drifting down like a leaf might drift down and settle on the surface of a pond. Drifting right the way down to feet on the floor, connecting with the earth. Tracing the outline of your feet on the floor or the earth. Noticing the interface between the two. And feeling into the support and the rootedness that this provides us. Just allowing ourselves to be rooted and grounded by the earth beneath us. And receiving this support. And drifting up into ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips. Holding your whole lower limb in your awareness. Scanning through in your own time, at your own pace, just noticing what you find there this morning. Sensations of stuckness or stiffness. Or noticing expansion and flow. There's no right or wrong, it's just noticing what is. And then flowing up into your pelvic bowl. This bony bowl that supports everything in your abdomen and your rib cage, in your chest area. Just feeling into it, the important role it provides, supported by our muscular sling of our pelvic floor. Holding everything here. And again, just feeling into it, areas of tightness or tension. Perhaps inviting a softening if that's accessible. Just paying attention with curiosity rather than judgment. And drifting up the spine, almost as if we are using our spine as a ladder, climbing up out of our pelvis, up towards our rib cage, coming out of our spine and sliding down our ribs, sitting in our sternum, feeling the protection that our rib support provide us, like wings that reach around and protect us around our heart space, our lung space. The most precious of our life force centers. Feeling into the strength, the solidness, support. And then dropping down below that to rest in our heart space, in our lungs, as if collapsing on a comfy couch or cushion. And just resting there. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, just resting here in the breath. And then gently moving up, climbing out, climbing back up our spine, up to our shoulders, our collarbone, scapulae, just resting here on our shoulders, seeing what we find here today. Perhaps we're carrying the weight of the world, or just the weight of our lives. Perhaps there's tension or tightness, maybe even dull pain is present, or sharp pain. Just noticing it, not wishing for it to be different, but perhaps inviting the breath into this area. And as we breathe directly into this area, perhaps it allows us to soften and expand slightly. And then gently sliding down our arms, over our elbows, our forearms, to our hands and fingers. Just feeling our whole upper limbs in our awareness, holding them here. Just gently scanning through them at your own time and your own pace. Feeling from fingertips and the spaces between the fingers, right up to the underarms and shoulders. And then slowly coming up again, climbing that spine so that we reach our occiput, where our skull rests on our necks. Noticing what that feels like, the connection of our cervical spine and our skull. Noticing what it feels like there. And perhaps inviting a softening, a breath. And then gently and in your own time, traveling around your skull, your head, exploring hair and hair follicles, eyebrows, eyes, nose, nostrils, mouth, teeth, tongue, chin, jaw, all just gently and in your own time. As if you're a curious child exploring an unknown home. And then when you're ready, climbing out the top of your head, part that is closest to the heavens. And then sliding back down your neck and spine and landing back in your rib cage, in your heart space, and settling back there in a comfy cushion or couch. And as you do so, inviting a feeling of gratitude in your heart space for this very body that we've explored. Letting go of imperfections and things we want to change or wish were different or better. And just knowing that because we are breathing, there's more right with us than wrong with us. And really tapping into a sense of gratitude for that. I'm sitting here so that we can really feel the sensation of gratitude in our heart space and realizing that gratitude has a sensation. Just exploring it again, like that child, how it looks, how it feels, the weight it holds, whether it shimmers or sparkles, what color it is. Just feeling into the gratitude in your heart in this moment. And while we sit here washed in gratitude, perhaps we wish to invite images or sensations of loved ones who have passed, who we miss in our earthly lives, but who we know we'll see again. And just inviting them into our heart space now, so that they too can feel this feeling of gratitude and love surrounding them. Perhaps whispering messages of gratitude to them for the parts that they played in your lives, the things you shared, the love you shared. And then when you're ready, just gently letting go of those images, like you might let go of a balloon that drifts up gently into the sky, wishing it well, thanking it for visiting you. And just settling back into the space of gratitude and love in your heart. And just allowing it to expand through your whole body, slowly making its way even through arteries and arterioles to capillaries. So it reaches the further tips of your body, fingertips, fingerprints, shafts of your hair, on your head and all over your body. And noticing how it just can't be contained. It just can't stay inside our bodies. It can expand out and beyond like a beautiful light armor of protection. An armor that we can share with the world and provide our light to the world. The only thing that makes sense is to hold it all tenderly, as if it can break, as if it won't be here forever, as if the moment is this moment will give you everything if you let it. The only thing that makes sense is to celebrate the exactness of you, to take your own face in your own hands and declare yourself worthy. To take your own face in your own hands and declare yourself worthy. To wrap arms around the orphan parts that didn't fit, didn't follow, refused to march in straight little lines. The only thing that makes sense is to make art that is your art, art that swings, sways, tangos its way through every midnight, as if life, this very exact, disappearing life, depends on it. To scatter kindness confetti until the walls become wings. Hard melts to soft. Not enough becomes a feast of plenty. To scatter kindness confetti until walls become wings. Hard melts to soft. Not enough becomes a feast of fabulous plenty. a wild belly laughing celebration where every tender, breakable thing is invited. Invited to the moment that is this moment, the moment that will give you everything if you let it. And I invite you to just wrap your arms around your orphan parts, perhaps squeezing your neck and shoulders, squeezing the parts of you that maybe haven't got as much love as they deserved. Moving into fingers and toes, knees and shoulders and hips. And when you're ready, just opening your eyes, taking in the colors and the light of the room, perhaps outside, of the names and faces that are in this virtual room with us. Thank you for a beautiful start to the morning. Wish you a blessed day, blessed All Saints, All Souls celebration. I'm actually starting a prayer group, Women Who Pray, on Thursdays, starting tomorrow at our home here in Garlington. We're having soup and sourdough and praying because I really feel we need prayer and the world needs prayer at the moment. So if you're in and around Hilton, or you know someone who is in and around Hilton and would like to join us, please let me know. You're most welcome to join. It's Thursdays from 12:45 to 2. And next week, I'm actually at a dōTERRA leaders retreat for their top leaders. It's a very small retreat. And I'll be there on Wednesday, and I'm not sure how the program is looking. So I'll have to be in touch to let you know as to whether I'm able to do a mindful moment next Wednesday, but I'll be in touch on the group. So if you're not on the group, the mindful moment group, it's just where I post recordings and the reminders. Please do get onto that if you want to know the weekly updates. Thank you so much for these lovely comments. You're welcome to unmute if you'd like to share anything that landed for you. Otherwise, I wish you a blessed day. Thanks for the comments. I appreciate them all.
Hi, Nicola, it's Mobile.
Oh, hello, Mabila. How are you?
I nearly. Okay, I'm still on. I'm fine, and how are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to buy the oils. So with the special,
Yes,
yeah.
I'll contact you. You're on my list to contact today. I'll give you a call just after this. I'll send you a message.
Okay, it's fine. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mabile. Thank you. I'll send you a message now.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Mabile. Thank you, everyone. Anyone else? Sending you much love. Mum, I can see you typing, but I don't know whether I'll wait for the, okay. Much love.